This house was made by, if I remember correctly, by Frank Battistini, who had worked for Tiny Toy, and this was wasn't even finished completely. And a friend of mine acquired it with a lot of other things that Battistini had made, and in relationship to Tiny Toy. But it seemed a pity not to finish it up, so we finished it up and made a little ladder so you can get up to the upper story. This represents a tea room, a Russian tea room, and a portrait gallery. You can see the portraits off, or you can't see them very well, can you? Because the light is on. You have to change that.
Yeah.
But anyway, and these are miniatures, really nice ones.
How much did you pay for this one?
I think I got this for a very small amount because it needed a lot of work. And this is the front, and it's, see, he did it with like cement, you know, like stucco.
Mm-hmm.
It was just plywood, and it wasn't very.
What do you call this house?
I call this the Russian Tea Room and Art Gallery.
Mm-hmm.
And this is sponsored by Miss Brewster, who's a very wealthy woman, and her name is Miss Doll came with the Arbors.
Mm-hmm.
There's another doll and two men that came with the Arbors too. You know the Arbors, Paul. So she really is very rich.
Mm-hmm.
The Arbors is very, very extraordinary country home. She has a city home too, 123 Beacon Street. That's in my bedroom.
And she's just over visiting.
No, she'd come for breakfast at the tea room. She gets it free.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have to pay.
And what year would you say this house is?
Well, I'd say somewhere around 1950 maybe.
1950?
Yeah, approximate, give or take. I'm not sure because it was just in the stuff that Maureen was able to acquire.
Uh-huh.
Is that the cat trying to get in or out? Something was just there at the door, scratching on the door.
Well,
Where is the cat?
probably somewhere.
Well, though, somewhere around it, maybe being outside.
Sure. Okay. That's it for that house?
So anyway, Miss Sears sponsored this Russian tea room. She had little Russian orphan girls from the Tsarist Revolution come, having their costumes, and there's three of them.
What's the little booklet up there?
This little booklet,
Uh-huh.
that's another portrait,
Oh.
and it's a nice portrait, but I didn't want anything to happen to it, so I closed it. This is my grandmother, and I painted that one myself when I was 12 or 13.
Is it?
It's a good picture of my grandmother, too.
Uh-huh.
And this is the frog. This is called, you've heard of the famous Frog Art Gallery in Cambridge.
Mm-hmm.
This is called the Frog Gallery.
Mm-hmm.
We refer to it lovingly as the frog.
Very cute.
But that was that easel and the little stool over the pallet and that chair were given to my grandmother when she was a little girl by an old lady here in Lancaster who had it when she was a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a stuffed frog that's fallen apart now, thank goodness. But it was, and she's a lady, she's carrying a little bouquet of flowers. And there was the artist frog who was stuffed and standing, and he had the palette in one hand and the brush, the palette in one hand and the brush in the other. And my grandmother, I think she'd be fonder of that than anything she ever had. Well, not really, but she was very fond of it. And so I thought, what a great idea to call it the Frog Gallery. See?
Mm-hmm.
Get it? I
Very
think that's very
cute.
clever of me. I'm a genius, there's no question about it.
Okay. Now we can talk about in the between there, the stuff there.
Oh, Lord. The dolls are really quite nice in this house, too. They were bought at a store in Natick years ago, these ladies, and the ladies here. And they are on the board of directors. for the fog gallery and tea room. And they come for breakfast every morning to get it free.
And in between the two houses,
Well, then,
is there a little outside patio?
well, this is a little patio, and the Shakers,
Don't block the light.
I'm so sorry. And there were two men's Shakers there with their straw hats on. And this was the first wooden doll I ever had. It was a spool of thread. The spool of thread was in here. See?
Put it right up, put it on that little shaker box, and the camera
Okay.
will see it.
It's in very bad condition. You're going to restore that, of course. This is a little shaker, a music box, and it plays Simple Gifts, which is one of the Shaker hymns.
Mhm.
And there's a big kettle there where the Shakers make kind of soup for poor people like you. And then that's the outhouse there.
Uh-huh.
And these are picnic tables that really go with that tea room.